The Limtiaco clan on Guam can trace its origin to the first Limtiaco to settle on the island. His name was Santiago Limtiaco. But that was his Christian name, and Santiago was not born a Christian, because Santiago was born in China. He was Chinese. How did a Chinese man end up on Guam during Spanish times? In 1856, half of Guam's population, of around 8,000 people, was cut in half to about 4,000 people because of the deadly smallpox epidemic. An entire village, the village of Pogo, lost almost all its residents, and the survivors had to be relocated to Hagatna and Sinahaña. Guam was in need of people, and the Spanish government thought that importing Chinese and Japanese workers to Guam would not only increase the island population, but also promote agriculture, because the Spaniards thought the Chinese and Japanese made good farm workers. By 1858, or just 2 years after the epidemic, Chinese men started coming to Guam. They came by way of Manila in the Philippines. China is a very big country, one of the biggest in the world, and the Chinese who came to Guam did not come from just any part of China. Most of them came from a region of China called Fujian. Thousands of Chinese from Fujian also went to the Philippines. The Chinese from Fujian had their own language. When Santiago came to Guam, he had to fit in somehow with the Spanish and Chamorro Island. The Chinese had their own way of naming themselves, different from the way the Spanish and Chamorros did. Most Chinese have a family name that is very short. Santiago's family name was Lim. Then each Chinese person usually had 2 more names. One name showed what generation the person was from, and the other name was their own personal name. When the Fujian Chinese came to Guam, they changed that way of naming themselves a little bit. They kept their family name and personal name, but dropped their generational name, and instead added the word ko at the end of their name. In the Fujian language, ko means something like elder brother. It was a title of respect. That is why almost all the Chamorro families with Chinese last names have ko at the end. Umpinko, Champaco, and Limtiaco, to name a few. This is believed to be Santiago's Chinese name, or perhaps even his signature. When a Chinese man wanted to marry a Chamorro wife, he had to get baptized into the Catholic religion. That meant he had to go get a Christian first name like Juan or Jose. Mr. Limtiaco from China was named Santiago, the Spanish form of the name James. Spanish records state that Santiago Limtiaco came to Guam between 1858 and 1860. He settled in Asan and married Maria Taihito. Both Santiago and Maria died sometime before 1897. It is believed Maria's middle name was Maotnya. Both these names, Taihito and Maotnya, are indigenous Chamorro names. So the Limtiaco clan on Guam is descended from a Chinese patriarch and a Chamorro matriarch, and number in the thousands, almost 200 years after Santiago Limtiaco came to Guam from China.